put your fingers like this rather than touching or close together. And they could be at your side, but just not the close together part.
So this is we're gonna run some bars, and we're gonna do some clearings about some of the stuff that's up for us. So one person here, we have some relationship things, questions we want to look into, and then for me and another person, we're looking at like worldly events and how we're allowing those to affect us. So we're gonna play with some of those and look at that while we're also getting the bars run. Okay, so first of all, let's look at we just watched the video Greater Than Yesterday. So did anything specific come up when we were watching that? Any questions or like, oh, that's bullshit, or anything that's like, that kind of stuck with you?
Gosh, there's like a couple points blossom there where it's like, oh my god, yeah. like I can't think of any to say, but it just struck me as like, I do that. Yes, that has to happen in my life. Yes, these are all true.
Totally. So one of the things that's kind of coming up for me is this resisting and reacting, or aligning and agreeing. And so then I'm led to this whole idea of the things that are going on in the world. We've got people in our country being gunned down by our protectors, and we've got sniper shootings and just like a lot of angry people taking their anger out on other people. So we can look at that as like, where are we aligning and agreeing or resisting and reacting to other people's anger and hatred? So everything that is, we're going to just try and uncreate it. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, boy, shorts, and beyonds. And so the clearing statement, basically, it's just a bunch of gobbledygook. All the words mean something, and I'm not going to get into that now, but basically what it's doing is it's taking the mind out of the equation. Because, you know, if we could solve problems at the level of the mind, we would have done it already. So there are things that go on in our life that can't be solved at the level of the mind. And so the clearing statement is designed to get us out of the mind. It's designed to basically shut it off. So it's like, it can't make sense of what we're saying. It's like, And so it brings us down to our other space, another level of consciousness, essentially, which is this heart-centered awareness. And it's from this space where we can sense our unity, where we can sense our connection, our all-oneness, and just this level of being that's present, that's aware, that's compassionate, generous, grateful, all those high vibrational ways of being that you just feel good. And that's this heart-centered awareness. So we're going to take a couple deep breaths, and we're just going to drop into this space of heart-centered awareness. And it's not a way of doing. You don't have to do anything to be there. If you're a visual person, you can pretend like you have a light from the middle of your brow, and you can just drop it down like a boop and drop it into your heart. And there's kind of a heaviness here. So we're just going to drop all of our barriers. Barriers down, barriers down, barriers down, barriers down. And these are the barriers that we put up to protect us from the world, to protect us from other people, to protect us from ourselves. So barriers down, barriers down, barriers down, in all lifetimes, spaces, dimensions, and realities. Barriers down, barriers down, barriers down, barriers down. Everything that doesn't allow that, just try and uncreate it. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, boy, shorts, and beyonds. So the reason we choose to keep our barriers up is because we feel vulnerable, we feel raw, and we don't want to hurt our delicate little hearts. So everything that brings up, let's just try and uncreate it. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, boy, shorts, and beyonds. Because our heart is protected by the pericardium, it's protected by our ribs, it's protected by our skin. So we've got multiple layers of protection around our heart. We don't need to have barriers up to protect our heart. What we're trying to protect is our emotions. And emotions can't hurt us. Emotions are energy in motion, emotion. And so if we just allow that energy to stay in motion and allow ourselves to feel that energy, it's going to go right through us. It's when we put up our barriers and resist and react or align and agree with that energy. So everything that is, just trying to create it. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, boy, shorts, and beyonds. So what emotions come up when we look at the shootings that have happened really recently in this country that seem like, well, yeah, what emotions come up when we think about those? Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get started with the first three are power, pulling in energy.
So for me, what comes up is a sense of injustice, a lot of anger, and underneath that anger is sadness. So where are we resisting? Most likely we're probably resisting and reacting to the sadness. So everything that is, let's just try to create it. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, boy, shorts, and beyonds. And what goes on when I yawn is we're clearing unconsciousness. So air is like prana in our body and our energy, and air and oxygen is the life force. And so you can look at it both ways. And the world has multiple levels and ways that we can look at things. So we have, the concrete physical way we can look at things. Air is oxygen. Breathe in oxygen, you exhale CO2. Ah, that's the scientific perspective. And then you have the metaphorical or mythological perspective, where it's prana, it's life force, it's God. And you inhale that and it nourishes your body, it nourishes your mind. And so both are true, and it doesn't matter which one you adhere to. They're both true and they're both real. And so I totally forgot where I was going with all that. And everything that brings up, I'm just trying to create it. Oh yeah, and so when I yawn, that's this unconsciousness leaving. It's making space for more air, more consciousness, creating more space in my body, more space in my being. And it's that space that gives us allowance. It gives us this degree of peace in our heart. It gives us this degree of gratitude. And so it's when we constrict around something, that's when we feel uncomfortable and sad and tight and blah. So everything that is, everywhere where you feel like you have to constrict around pieces of your life to protect it, let's just try to create it. Right, okay, man, all that, pop, boy, shorts, and beyonds. Whew, awesome. So what else comes up when we think about current events?
I feel anger at the not choosing consciousness.
Okay.
And even the definition of consciousness is going to be different. How many people there are, that's how many definitions of it there are.
Mm-hmm.
So my consciousness isn't the same as yours. Oh, well.
Mm-hmm. So what have we decided that choosing consciousness is or isn't? Everything that is, let's just try and create it. So the other thing is when we feel anger, that's a distractor implant. And the distractor implants are designed to keep us stuck chasing our tails and keep us stuck in that hamster wheel of anger, blame, shame, regret, guilt, and all those things just keep you on this loop where you're constantly like, I'm angry, it's their fault, oh, I'm so ashamed of how angry I am, oh, it's your fault, oh, suck, oh. So everything that is, let's just try to create it, and everywhere you're choosing to stay on the hamster wheel of distractor implants, let's just try to create all that. Right, good, bad, all that, pop, boy, shorts, and beyonds.
Yeah, just be comfortable. And then I'm going to touch the middle of your palm.
Distractor implants are fairly insidious because they mimic like our true ways of being, our true emotions. So everything that is, we're just trying to create it. Right, good, bad, all that, pop, boy, shorts, and beyonds. Whew, okay, so one of the other things that I like to play with is this is another set of tools called matrix energetics, and so we're gonna just plop this in now because
is that Bartlett?
Yeah, Richard Bartlett. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to play with that now. And one of the things that we can do is, so in matrix energetics, everything's just information, sets of information. So whatever we come up with, whatever thing pops into our mind, it's just information. Whatever's going in our body or in our life is just information. So we can interact with this information. And what that does is, when we look at it as just information, is that it takes us out of the story out of it, it takes us out of the charge, and it puts us in this place of neutrality. And so that's kind of where consciousness is. And if you can maintain the space of neutrality, of centeredness, of groundedness, then that's where you're going to be able to be the most effective and potent in your life. So everything that doesn't allow you to maintain neutrality in any way, shape, or form in any situation, let's just try to create all that. Whew. Yeah, so it's like Switzerland, and remain neutral.
Okay, and you're in charge of the pressure, so if it's too much, or if you'd like more pressure, just let me know at any time, because each spot's going to be different. I'm just going to be touching different points on your hand.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then you can do MTVSS on the feet. Do that?
Yeah, MTVSS and all the restaurant.
Cool.
Liquefaction process added.
Woo! What's the liquefaction process?
There's a specific phrase, and I just don't recall it all the time, so I'm like, okay, I just asked that to add to it, cool. Like it says in the book.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to have it on the top of my head.
Cool. So,
it's liquefaction of the molecules and the things that are causing disease and distress, etc.
Cool. Yeah, I'll run that on me too.
Yeah, we can run the MTVSS on ourselves too.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes my hands are busy here. I will actually turn it on with my head and do that. I've done that a few times, and people told me it was powerful. Yeah.
So fun.
Only when my intuition says, though. It's
Yeah.
not a certain process every time. It's whatever it's called for.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever's needed in the moment.
So the matrix thing. So what I'm going to do to interrupt these distractor implants is I'm going to incorporate a little matrix energetics into this space. And so the matrix is, we're going to interact with the information. And so all the distractor implants in there, we're going to put an algorithmic interrupt in there. And so this is the combo between matrix and access. And so the algorithmic interrupt in the distractor implants, I see the distractor implants as like a hamster wheel. And sometimes our hamster's on the wheel, and sometimes it's off the wheel. And so what we're going to do is, every time the hamster gets on the wheel to run in the distractor implant, we're going to put a little, like one of those Wheel of Fortune knobs, you know, the little bumpy thing that kind of helps stop the wheel. So it can spin for a while, but then it stops because it's got the bumpy thing. You guys know what I'm talking about? So we're going to put that in. We're going to activate that in our hamster wheel distractor implants. And so every time we hop on the wheel of distractor implants, this thing is going to activate, and we're going to put in like 6 to 12 backups in there. In case the one breaks, we've got 6 to 12 in there. And so that's now activated. And so every time the distractor implants run for us, to help us get out of them, to help us break that habit, to help us clear the distractor implants, we're going to activate that and put that in our space. And we're going to ask that to run indefinitely for all space and time. Woo, for each of us. To run as much as we would like it to run. Awesome. Anything else there? Cool. All right, so what's up? So anything else on these current events that's popping into our awareness? Anything how they make you feel? Any more like anger, injustice, or like thoughts about that are coming up for either of us, any of us?
And it's okay if you don't remember any of this, or if you zone out, if you go somewhere else while you're receiving. And then another question that's asked at the beginning of the session is, if you could receive anything from our session, what would it be? If you weren't broken, nothing needed to be fixed, what would you be willing to receive?
Inner peace, I suppose.
Cool. Okay, great. Anything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it all times a gazillion? You're shaking your head no?
That's me, yeah. preventing the inner peace is me.
Okay, so what's that about all reversals? Do you have a phrase for that? Reversals, opposites. Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be. Nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be. Nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be. Nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. Everything is the opposite of what it appears to be. Nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be.
So I would ask, like, what's the value of blocking what you truly like to have? Everything that is. You're just trying to create it. Whew. We're just going to open the door. It's like a little slider door. And we're just going to allow the inner peace to come in. And it's just like a cute little puppy dog. And it's just wagging and wiggling its way in there. You're not going to let a little puppy dog stay outside in the cold, are you? Yeah, there you go. Except it wants to bring a pack of puppies.
Yes.
They're all potty trained though, so it's okay.
Score.
Cool. Alright, so the puppies of inner peace are inside our domain, and they're just like, you know, puppying it up. They're so freaking cute and adorable. Yeah, so let's let those puppies come in and play.
Anything that doesn't allow your goal of inner peace, will you destroy and uncreate at all times a gazillion? Yes. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, pop, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds.
Mm-hmm.
She nodded her head yes.
Yeah. Cool. So that reminds me of one thing that I wanted to put, like kind of a foundation piece to all this is in an access point of view, plus like tons of other metaphysical, religious, spiritual, all kinds of denominations, they have this idea that we are an infinite being, call it a soul or a spirit, whatever you want to call it. It's this
immortal soul,
this infinite nature that goes on and on and on, you know, for all, you know, indefinitely, for infinity. And so that's the space that we hold, and that is, you know, part of what this consciousness is. It's our, you know, they even talk about it in science is like your ego self or your higher self. So it's kind of the same thing. Whatever language you want to talk about it in, whatever semantics you play with there, that is, you know, how you're going to look at it. So this baseline that we're working from is this idea that we're all infinite beings. And as an infinite being, you have infinite capacity to receive, know, perceive, and be. Notice there's nothing about doing in there. So everything that doesn't allow you to know with every cell in your body and every fiber of your being that you are an infinite being, that nothing can harm you, that disease is not real, that whatever else that I'm not even thinking of, that infinite beings can do, be, perceive, and have. I'm going to just try and create all that. Right, wrong, good, bad, all that, pot, pock, portraits, beyond. Whew. So what energy, space, and consciousness can we in our bodies be to be the infinite beings we truly be for all eternity? Everything that doesn't allow that, we're going to try and uncreate it. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pot, pock, portraits, and beyonds. So as infinite beings, we have infinite capacity to receive. And this means that if you imagine yourself in a bubble, so to speak, and this is just helpful for us in this reality to kind of grasp the idea of an infinite being and to formulate some kind of reality around it. If you picture yourself in a bubble, and this bubble is permeable, and so you can allow things into your space or you can block stuff from coming into your space. Now the bubble is different from your barriers. So your bubble is just this permeable, super light, super fun and playful space around you. This permeable membrane, so to speak. Now if we were to put our barriers up around that, that would be like an iron shell coming up around our bubble. And so that's going to keep everything out, and it's going to keep all of our stuff in. But it's, you know, the bombarding of things on the iron shell, it takes effort to keep your barriers up. And so if you always have your barriers up, you're going to feel like there's this slate of granite constantly pressuring you and just like, constantly, and you're constantly like, against the slate of granite. So everywhere that you felt like in order to keep yourself safe, you have to have your barriers up. We're going to just try and create all that. Because what we want to get to is this space of receiving. So the receiving is our barriers down. It's the iron molten layer around us down. And then just our membrane being permeable and being able to receive everything. And so this means that we can receive the energy of it and allow it to pass through us, or direct it away from us, or move so it doesn't hit us, or allow it into our space. And so that's this way of being aware, of being conscious, of being able to choose what shows up in our life. And that's where our infinite powers are. So receiving is different than allowing. Allowing is letting the thing show up into your life. Receiving is just getting the energy of it and choosing whether or not you're okay with that. Does that make sense? Cool.
And I call barriers down, open-hearted and expanded outward.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
That's a visual or visceral for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's again like being into our heart-centered awareness, where it's just like once you're in that space and everything's just like, whoa, shining and happy. So as far as this relationship thing that was coming up for you, what's that energy in there, that twist that's kind of got you a little bit sticky?
Well, I recognize it as a pattern, and it's the discomfort of recognizing that I did it again, and then not wanting to deal with it. I'd rather not tell him in person and hurt him, and the not wanting to hurt people.
Ah, okay.
And then me being me hurts people.
Okay.
That's my core lie, belief, whatever.
Okay. So can you feel that in your body? Okay. Go ahead. And if you could grasp that with your energy fingers, hold on to that, and then expand out 100 million miles in all directions. And if you could turn the 3 molecules that will change everything or transform that, go ahead and turn those molecules. And there might be 3 more that show up and turn those molecules. What do you notice in your body with that as you continue to turn those molecules?
Well, it was kind of amusing to me because of a recent experience, but that's beside the point. But it was kind of like the Grim Reaper was coming and helping out.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like a loss of letting that go because it was an implant, something that I'm familiar with.
Oh, okay.
I'm just very aware, so.
Uh-huh. So everywhere that you bought that you can lose, let's just try and create all that.
And it's my body. My body feels the loss.
Your body feels the loss? Okay.
It's not the consciousness, it's the body.
Who does that belong to?
All the implants from this lifetime and others, and all the people and experiences that I had.
So everywhere you're buying all that is real. Let's just try and create all that. And so what if you could just see those implants as a skin? And you've got a zipper in the back. So why don't you unzip that zipper and take off your skin? And what do you notice from there?
I'm noticing her respond to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, so everywhere that you bought the whole wounded healer idea, or the wound.
Yeah, finding broken people that need fixing.
Yeah, there's something about the wound. And so everywhere you bought that people are broken, let's just try and create all that. And everywhere you're being superior bitch about it, let's just try and create all that.
I want to own that. I'm ready to own that.
Yeah, so everything that is trying to create it. So everywhere you deflected out of taking your skin off, let's go back to that.
I don't know if that process works for me.
Which process? The unzipping of the skin?
Yeah. I mean, it could be so much simpler than that. It doesn't need to be complicated for me. And it's just like, poof, it's gone. It doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like, well, wait a minute. My brain tries to get in there, which
Okay.
is my body.
Okay. So, what's the value of holding on to all that?
The excuse not to change.
Oh, okay. So, everything that is. What would your life be like if you chose something different? Can you see that door to the new possibility?
Oh, my life would be wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
It would be everything I dreamed of.
Okay. So, are
And
you
I'm
willing?
not sure I'm willing to own it. It's
Okay.
like, there's a fear of it. I don't know why. Fear of success is bigger than the fear of failure for me.
So, fear is a distractor implant. So, look at that again. So, truth is that fear, or is that excitement? Is that excitement?
Well, there's
success?
lots of excitement about being met and matched in energy and physical and consciousness and everything by a partner. And then I'm picking people that don't.
Mm-hmm. So let's put up a mirror really quick, and everywhere that you're looking at the people around you is broken and need to be fixed. Let's reflect that back on you. And so everywhere you're looking at you is broken and need to be fixed. Let's just try and create all that. Everywhere you got your barriers up to that, go ahead and drop your barriers. In all lifetime, spaces, dimensions, realities. So truth, is this from this lifetime or another?
I just got yes.
This lifetime?
Well, I think everything, all of the above, yes.
Okay.
And there's more going on, and I'm sensing that it's related about some potential inheritance I could receive from my family. And there's, stuff around that too, and it just, for some reason, seems related. It keeps coming up.
Okay. So truth, what's the relation here? Seen or unseen? Everything that doesn't allow you to receive, know, perceive, and be that relation. Let's just try and create it. Cool. So if you've got two doors in front of you, one door takes you back to repeating your past, choosing inappropriate partners, seeing people as broken and need to be fixed, all of that same story. The other door leads to new, greater possibilities. And you said you weren't quite willing to choose that other one because there's fear, quote unquote fear. So check your willingness now. Are you more willing or less willing, or about the same?
I'm getting distracted with tangents, like what if I choose the wrong door? I want to make sure I choose the right door.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh yeah, that's a pattern too.
Right, so everywhere we bought into the right and wrong of things, let's just try and create all that. And everywhere you're obsessed with seeing patterns in your life and other lives.
There's no pattern.
Let's just try and create all that. Woo! Yeah, that was a cool one. Yeah, so let's just break down the pattern.
Are you getting cold? Do you want the blanket on you?
Yeah, blanky, blanky.
I do need the blanky.
Unicorn.
Thank you for taking care of you.
Unicorn. Cool. Woo. Yeah. So patterns. Whew. So what do you notice with the patterns? Or what do you love about seeing patterns and creating patterns and choosing patterns? Everything that is. Just try and create it. So check back in with the door. Are you willing to, there's only two possibilities. And one of them is bright and shiny and gold, and the other one is old and run down and knocked off its hinges a little bit.
Actually, the doors seem too limiting. It's like I'm going to kick down all the doors and boxes and get out of the square.
Okay. So go ahead and do that. What do you notice from there?
That there's a whole world of possibilities. And there's too many choices to choose from, and it gets overwhelming.
Okay. So step back into your life now. Okay. All right. So everything that is, let's just try and create it. How many judgments do you have about you in your life right now?
Oh, none.
Oh. Yeah. Everything that is. Yeah, let's just try.
Could you tell that was a lie?
Uh-huh.
See how the energy of it? It's the energy behind it.
Everything that is, just trying to create it. Whew. Cool. Yeah, so how many judgments do we have of ourselves in our lives? Woo. And how many judgments have we made about the choices we've made? Everything that is. Let's just try and create it. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, pod, both sorts of beyonds. Alright, so we're going to step into the Matrix world again. And I've got this cute little fuzzy, adorable little monster guy. And he's like our bestest little friend. And this dude feeds off judgment. And he only eats the judgments that are present in our life right now. And so we're going to ask him to eat all of the judgments that we have about ourselves. And we're just going to turn him loose into our inner terrain. Whoop! Whoop! Alright, brother, come on in and eat your fill, little man. So we're going to ask this little creature dude to just go ahead and chomp down and eat the judgments. Because these judgments are like blackberries in our space. And so imagine just blackberries. You're on the top of a mountain, and it's like this little hill, and everywhere as far as you can see are blackberries. And this is your life here on the top of this hill. And you're pretty much stuck there because of all the judgments, the blackberries all around you. So we've got our little judgment eater friend, and he's going to go ahead and chop down all the judgments for us. Cool, so let's go ahead and turn him loose. There you go. Whew. Cool. So he's going to go and eat those judgments. And so, let's see. Do we just want to path through the judgments, or do we want all the judgments gone?
Poof, gone.
Poof, gone? All right, cool. So maybe we need multiple judgment eaters. So let's go ahead and put a bunch of them in there and just send them off in all directions to eat down all the judgments. They're kind of like goats. They love berries. And then they're going to create this delicious nectar of life for us that we get to milk them and eat this nectar of life. Woo! Cool. So that's going to continue to run, and we're going to allow that to continue in our space for like 6 weeks. Awesome, good job. It really does allow that. Let's just try to create it. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, boy, shorts, and beyonds. Cool, so what comes up from there? Or what are you noticing? In your body, thoughts, emotions? Something about change. Like, just like, oh, change isn't that easy. So where have we bought that change has to be hard and sluggish and pain in the ass, and what else is with that? Slogging through the mud. Everything that is. Just trying to create it. Whew. Good job. So looking back at that relationship, or you don't want to hurt that person. So what if he'd be just fine if you left? What if you saw him?
He will.
Okay.
I mean, he will or he won't. It's not up to me. It's his choice.
Totally. Right.
I really came up against self-care with him this week, and he wasn't taking care of himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't be more vested in your self-care than you are. It's just not working for me.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So let's turn the mirror on ourselves again. So where are we not taking care of ourselves and projecting it outward?
By not saying goodbye in this relationship.
Oh, beautiful.
It's like I feel like I sense that I need to, that it would be helpful if I could release that relationship from my energy system.
Okay. So would you be willing for me to cut that cord?
I'm still connected to him though. The cord cutting thing doesn't do it for me anymore.
Okay.
Because I'm still connected to everyone. Cutting them off doesn't do it for me.
Okay, so what would do it for you?
It's I don't know. I'm going to come to it, maybe today, maybe not today, and speak it to him, something about telling him. Yet it's not like I'm breaking up with you, because to me, we're not even together.
But is he together with you?
He's idolized me.
Okay. So truth, where have you idolized others?
Mentors and teachers I have, and now I see them as peers.
Okay,
so we're all the same.
Let's just try to create it. So something about because whatever we see in other people is really what's going on in us. And so everywhere we're not recognizing what we see or what awarenesses we're having in others, how that's really showing up in ourselves, we're just trying to create all that. Right, road, good, bad, all nine, pot, boy shorts, and beyonds. So yes, we're all connected, and we're always all connected. But what if our attachments are what the cords are? And so what if those attachments, those attachments can be healthy or they can be unhealthy. And it's totally our choice whether or not we want to keep them. So everywhere you're attached to the unhealthy, would you be willing to just try and uncreate it?
Now that I'm willing to, I realized I wasn't willing to do the cord because he'll notice.
Well, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's very energy sensitive and conscious on an energy level.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The energy connection is what I'm drawn to.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not a lot else there. No need to go into detail.
Mm-hmm. Right. So you're drawn to that underlying connection. And I kind of sense it as like the river underneath, the underground river. So that's really strong and potent. So what if you can, just tap into that as your well source, and you don't need those attachments on a physical, external level.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So in that space, are you more willing to disconnect and release the attachments to the relationship?
Yeah, I'm willing to release the physical.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So everything that doesn't allow that, I'm just trying to create it. Right, well, give out all that pot portion beyond. So we can still maintain that energetic flow of gifting and receiving, but we don't have to maintain the physical, mental, emotional connection where those attachments can happen. Cool. So what else is coming up? Anything else we want to play with here?
The ease, joy, and glory in whatever inheritance I receive or don't receive.
Okay.
I've been making it hard, and it's like, what would it take to make this easy?
Mm-hmm. So
it doesn't have to be hard.
Yeah, are you making it significant? So, truth, are you making it significant to receive the inheritance or to not receive it?
That part I pretty much, it's okay either way. It's that I'm wanting to be helpful and not hurt people. And that's coming up again in that.
Mm-hmm. So helpful is that superior bitch thing again. Because it's like, I'm up here and you're down here and you need my help.
I mean, she's got, you would not believe the complicated, okay, I'm 52, my brother is 50, and she has this, like, we're minors in a trust fund.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to have to go to this person for everything we want, every dollar.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so complicated, and who knows whether we'll see any of it. He could say no to everything, right? I mean, there's things that happen, and I'm like, okay, stop. And I just try to ignore it and not think about it. And so I'm wanting to become aware and take a look and be willing to see the truth in what I can do in each moment, rather than the thinking.
Mm-hmm. So everywhere you're resisting and reacting to this whole situation, let's just try and create all that. Everyone, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, boy, shorts, and beyonds. And everywhere you're unwilling to allow ease, joy, and glory into this space, because it feels like it's just like totally constricted. So let's just allow 10% of ease, joy, and glory into the space. Everything does allow that. Pocket pot it. Ooh, that's intense.
Tell me about it.
Okay. Cool. So what else is there? So everything that doesn't allow you to have total clarity and ease with the situation for all eternity, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it? Okay. So everything that doesn't allow that, destroy and uncreate it.
It's the choosing for me.
Mm-hmm.
To be willing to choose for me, even if others go without.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So everywhere you've bought that choosing for you means others have to go without, let's just try and create all that. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pot, poc, boy, shorts, beyonds. And everywhere we've bought into the lie of lack that's prevalent in this universe or in this planet, let's just try and create all that. And so that feels like, I get the sense of a worm. There's like this little worm. It's just like spreading smears of lack all over the place, and we kind of get stuck in the trail, and it like gums up our shoes, and then all we can see is this trail because we shrink down into this lack space, and it's like all of a sudden the slimy worm tail, which was just itty bitty, all of a sudden becomes ginormous, and it encompasses our whole entire world. So everywhere that we've mucked our shoes with the poo of lack, the worm poo of lack, let's just try and create all that. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, boy, shorts, beyonds. And let's take our boots off, and we're just going to get some new shoes, and we're going to step out of the poo of lack. We're going to turn that page because that story's over, and we're going to open to this new chapter of total abundance and everything. And that is just like, it's infiniteness from everywhere, 360 degrees of infinite, both within and without. So everything that doesn't allow us to open to that space, to totally receive that space, to be that space, and acknowledge it, that it's here now. Let's just try to create all that. Okay, man, all that pod, poc, boy, shorts, beyond. Whew, cool. So we're going to ask that process to run on a loop for the next 6 weeks straight. Awesome. Every time we think of the worm, with the muck on our shoes, we're just going to call on that process again and ask it to run. And we're just going to amplify it. We're going to contribute to it with a 1, 2, 3, a 1, 2, 3, a 1, 2, 3, a 1, 2, 3. Cool. And so what do you notice now from the new space?
Lightness and coolness.
Mm-hmm. And then go ahead and tap into the space of the inherence again. And so what if the constriction is not even yours?
Well, I don't even want it. It's like there's a part of me that doesn't want the responsibility of it.
Okay. So
I still haven't come to the point of choosing, and it's still like in process.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I keep thinking I should do something like take classes, money management, investment, something, and then I'm like, how can this be easy and fun?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't enjoy those things.
Right. So if it's a trust fund, then you have to ask for every dollar, and then they're managing it for you. So how fun and easy is that?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it will actually be.
Okay, so
But to be responsible or have it on paper that I have that much money, it's more than I thought, and it's kind of scary on one level.
Truth,
to my
is
body.
that scary or excitement?
To my body, not to the rest of me.
Okay, so truth, what's the value of buying into fear of receiving money?
Ignore it, la la la, it'll go away.
The money will go away?
Well, the whole situation.
Okay,
I don't have to pay attention to it until it actually happens.
Okay, so everything that is, everywhere you're closing off your awareness to it, you're just trying to create it.
Yeah, I've been wanting to look at the person's name and see, and I haven't even done that too. His name is Bruce. Ugh. Yeah. Ugh.
Mm-hmm. So, truth, what would the world be like in 10 years if you chose to receive the inheritance?
It's like, I don't know if it's up to me. It's like an outside thing that I don't have choice about. That's my perception of it.
Okay, so everything that is, you're just trying to create it.
And then my mom has these energy things, and we cleared some, and stuff. And cleared energy entities from my space that were from her.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got my life back for the first time in my 52 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like every now and then I sense it again, trying to, that they're there, or that they're. My mother gets desperate and thinks she's going to die, and then I'm so connected to her that I pick up on it, and I'm aware.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to do something to help. Oh, there's the relation. There we go. So then I don't want to hurt people, and I don't want to hurt them, and her dying would probably be a relief for her, but I don't want her to hurt, so that's equating hurting, her dying.
All right, so everything that is, I'm just trying to create it. And everywhere you're addicted to stories, you're just trying to create all that. Right, wrong, good, bad, all, 9, pot, boy, shorts, and beyonds. So there's a total unwillingness to let go of the story. So, truth, are you willing to let go of the story?
Well, part of me was like, oh, but certain ones and certain things are kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm laughing at myself for even having that thought,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm willing to give it a whirl, yeah.
Okay, so...
Because I can always call it back, right?
Yeah.
So let's give it a whirl with that.
So everywhere you're unwilling to step out of the story, you're just trying to create it. And it's like you can still look at the story, you can still watch what's going on, you're just not embroiled in it. So everything that doesn't allow you to step outside the story, you're just trying to create it.
Yes.
Everything that doesn't allow you to watch it is just a really good TV show. Let's just try to create all that. Right, wrong, good, bad, all, 9, pot, board, shorts, and beyonds. And everywhere you're letting other people manipulate you from afar, would you be willing to just try and create all that?
Oh, yes, please.
Right, wrong, good, bad, all, 9, pot, boy, shorts, and beyonds.
And it was also to protect my children. That was the belief I thought I had. And they've got a different relationship with her than I do, so they don't need my protection.
Right. So everything that is, let's just try and create all that. Right, wrong, good, bad, all, 9, pot, boy, shorts, and beyonds. So, if your life's a story, what if you just closed that book?
Would that mean I die?
Mm-mm. Just means you can start a new one where you write your own story.
Okay.
Cool. And so that one book, you can still pick it up and look at it and browse through it and do whatever you want with that. But you've got this other book over here that you can write your own story now. You can write your own destiny. And it can include those characters, or it doesn't have to include those characters. So that's there now for you. And that's more present than the other one. The other one's still there, but it's on a shelf over there somewhere collecting dust. So that's their stories. They can live out their stuff, and you can still tap into the flow of gifting and receiving from them. But again, those attachments to this story, to this life, to this reality, to those bodies, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate all those?
Yeah.
Everything that doesn't allow that. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, board, shorts, beyonds.
I saw the computer thing where it says file attachment unavailable. And it made me laugh.
Good. Whew, awesome. Whew. That feels better. So look at that, the story of the inheritance now. And what do you notice about it?
Well, it's just kind of there. It's not something I need to ignore and make it go away or to focus on and do something about at the moment.
Awesome. How does it get any better than that? So truth, are you willing to receive the inheritance? If you had choice in it, are you willing to receive it?
It's funny, but I want to know the conditions. I want to know, well, what else would happen if I do or don't. I want to know all the possible outcomes before I say yes. Isn't that weird?
Okay, so do you leave your house waiting? Do you wait until all the lights are green from here to your destination before leaving your house?
No?
Okay, so everything that is, let's just try and uncreate it. And so everywhere you're attempting to project into the future to know everything before you choose, let's destroy and uncreate all that. And everywhere you're attempting to write the future and write the story before it happens, you destroy and uncreate all that. What's that?
Or for understanding.
Or for understanding, yeah. So everything that is, destroy and uncreate it.
Nope.
So, let's see. Whew, yeah. Cool. So truth, if you could create the conditions and choose whether or not to receive inheritance, truth, are you willing to?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. How does it get any better than that? So everything that doesn't allow you to choose that, you just try and create all that. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, board, shorts, and beyonds. So truth, would the inheritance like to go to you?
Yeah.
Okay. So everything that doesn't allow you to receive it, you just try and create it. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, board, shorts, and beyonds. Everything that doesn't allow you to do whatever it takes to receive it, you just try and create it.
Well, see, that's the phrase that gets me, the whatever it takes. I'm not going to kill somebody over it. I'm not going to, do these certain things I probably wouldn't do.
Right, but doing is different than being willing.
And having the energy of it, being willing to have the energy of it. And
right.
I'm still discerning that, and I know discernment's one of those things.
So being willing is different than doing. Doing is taking the action in the physical world. Being willing is just be like, okay, I'm willing to do that. And usually just the willingness of it is just this openness to possibilities. It doesn't mean you're actually going to have to choose it. Because being willing is like, I'm willing to, but, it depends on the situation. I can choose it or not. And so willingness is the step before doingness. Does that make sense? So if there is a circle, willingness is in here, doingness is out here. So everywhere you're... So go back to that. So truth, are you willing to do whatever it takes to receive your inheritance?
There's this, it depends in my brain.
Okay, and so what is that? What does it depend on?
What is required, what is...
Okay,
Yeah.
So the willingness is just being willing. It doesn't mean you have to do anything. So everywhere you're not registering willingness versus doingness, you're just trying to create all that. And everywhere you're misidentifying and misapplying willingness with doingness, you just try and create all that. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, board, shorts, and beyonds.
That was a big piece of it.
Everything that is, Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, boy, shorts, and beyonds. So everywhere you're misidentifying and misapplying willingness with doingness, let's destroy and uncreate all that. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, boy, shorts, and beyonds. What's the value of misidentifying and misapplying willing with doing? Everything that is, destroy and uncreate it. Everything that is, destroy and create it. And everywhere you're putting doing before willingness, everywhere you're putting doing before being and willing, you destroy and uncreate all that. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, boy, shorts, and beyonds. Everywhere you're misidentifying and misapplying willingness and beingness with doingness, let's destroy and uncreate all that. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, boy, shorts, and beyonds. Ooh, that's really heavy and sticky. Ooh. So let's ask that process to run on a continuous loop for the next 600 days. Everything that does not that, just trying to create it. Whew. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Cool. So what do you notice now? Truth, are you willing to do whatever it takes?
I want to say yes, and there's a part of me that wants to cry.
Okay.
Just a second.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, well, if this and that, it's like letting go a whole string of things that were piled together and attached.
Yeah, that's totally
Lies and
unraveling.
beliefs that conclusions from this, that, then it means that, and it just kind of had to go through the domino effect of letting all that go. So now ask me that question again.
So truth, are you willing to do whatever it takes?
Yes.
Awesome. That was a lot better. Awesome. So anywhere that you have done whatever it takes in any lifetime, space-time, reality, or dimension, everywhere you're judging the doing of that.
Oh, I've done it all. I'm aware that I've done it all. I've been Hitler, I've been Mother Teresa, I've been everything.
Let's just try to create all that. Everywhere we're judging all of that.
And I'm okay with that.
Let's just try to create all that.
Very few people I can tell that to. That I love Hitler as much as Mother Teresa, and that, yeah, get it. And I'm connected to them both, and I can call upon any quality, essence, gratitude, meanness, bitch, niceness. I can call upon anything at any time. It doesn't have to be all sweetness.
Totally. And now that you're willing to be those energies and willing to do whatever it takes, that's going to be a lot more ease. Cool. So what else is possible? So there's something that I'm playing with, and this one's around money. So it's like, I'm not even sure how to describe it. Maybe you have an awareness that I don't, but it's like I can hold this thing in my hand. Whatever it is, it's totally just like that thorn, or it's like a speed bump, I guess. But for some reason, it's a Humpty Hump that I can't get over. So everything that is, I'm just trying to create it.
I just read How to Become Money. Wow. Have you read that one? Oh my gosh. I felt the energy of all that throughout the book, and I'm like,
Yeah, I've had some interesting transformations lately around it. So that speed bump, instead of trying to go over it, I'm just gonna cut a path through it, and I'm just gonna go around it.
It's not even there.
Just kind of shove it out of the way. That feels a lot more free. Awesome. So everywhere we're unwilling to go around what's blocking us, let's just try and uncreate all that. We're okay about all that pot boy shorts and beyond. Awesome. So what energy, space, and consciousness can we in our bodies be? To be the infinite beings we truly be for all eternity. Everything that doesn't allow that, let's destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9 pod, poc, boy, shorts, and beyonds. Yeah. Cool. And let's see, anything else? Yeah.